Certainly, certainly. When you give me those slippers.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Wicked and the Wizard of Oz. Two iconic stories that have captured our imagination. But what happens when we explore the rivalry between two of Oz's most famous figures? Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, and Dorothy, the naive girl who unknowingly changed the course of their fates. Today we're diving into the deeper, darker rivalry between these two characters in Wicked. The novel that reveals how their destinies collide, long before Dorothy even steps foot in Oz. In the musical, Wicked focuses on the unlikely friendship between Elphaba and Glinda, with Dorothy playing a much more passive role in the background. But Gregory Maguire's Wicked novel paints a much different picture. In this version, Dorothy's not just a bystander. She is, in many ways, Elphaba's nemesis, the catalyst of her downfall. To understand the rivalry between Dorothy and Elphaba, we first need to set the stage. Wicked is a story of Elphaba, the green-skinned girl who grows up to be the Wicked Witch of the West. But in the novel, there's much more at play than just magic and politics. Oz is a land of tension, socially, politically, and morally complex. Elphaba is an activist, fighting for equality and justice in a world that oppresses the animals, and she challenges the wizard's authoritarian rule. Dorothy, on the other hand, is an outsider, an innocent girl who, by sheer accident, becomes a key player in the power dynamics of Oz. She arrives with no agenda, no understanding of the political conflict she's walking into. But when her house falls on the Wicked Witch of the East, and she takes the shoes of the slain witch, she unwittingly becomes a symbol of a much larger political and personal struggle. Dorothy's arrival in Oz may seem innocent enough, but it marks the beginning of Elphaba's unraveling. In the novel, Elphaba sees Dorothy as the ultimate symbol of everything she opposes. She represents innocence, ignorance, and the idea that the good people of Oz can just solve everything through their naive ideals. Elphaba, who spent her whole life fighting for real change, sees Dorothy's simplicity as a dangerous force. In Elphaba's mind, Dorothy's very existence threatens the social revolution she's worked so hard to build. Where Elphaba believes in fighting for justice, even when it's messy, complicated, and controversial, Dorothy represents the naive simplicity of goodness that can be manipulated and misunderstood. The difference between the two is like fire and ice. Elphaba, deeply skeptical about everything, and Dorothy, an unwitting instrument of change with no clue of the larger battle. Their rivalry deepens on both the political and personal level. Elphaba, with her radical ideas about the rights of animals and her increasing distrust of the wizard, sees Dorothy as a threat to her revolution. Dorothy, on the other hand, is the one who, through her simple wish of home and innocence, becomes the unwitting hero of Oz. She doesn't understand the political ramifications of her actions. When she kills the Wicked Witch of the East and inadvertently gets involved with the wizard's plot, she becomes the good that just overshadows the deep complexities of Oz. For Elphaba, Dorothy's journey is not of heroism, but of ignorance. A simple girl with no understanding of the power she wields. Dorothy, in her mind, becomes an emblem of everything that's wrong with Oz. A system that rewards those who play the role of good without asking any questions about the bigger picture. Elphaba's disillusionment with her own society and her hatred for the simplicity that Dorothy represents fuels their eventual rivalry. But it's not just politics. Their rivalry is deeply personal. As the novel progresses, Elphaba starts to see Dorothy as an embodiment of everything she despises. Unaware of the consequences of her actions, and yet the one who will eventually cause Elphaba's ultimate downfall. Dorothy, in many ways, represents the world that Elphaba can never escape. A world of blind justice. A world that simplifies complex issues into fairy tale-like conclusions. And it's Dorothy with her innocence that make Elphaba's life and ideals crumble. By the time Dorothy begins her journey to defeat the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba is already lost to her own sense of betrayal. She sees Dorothy's rise to fame as nothing more than a dangerous fairy tale that could doom everything that she's fought for. In her eyes, Dorothy's role as the good girl is exactly what keeps Oz from facing the real issues. Dorothy is the antithesis of everything Elphaba stands for, and that makes their rivalry not only inevitable, but tragic. The climax of their rivalry in Wicked isn't just about the battle of good versus evil. It's about two conflicting world views. Dorothy's arrival in Oz sets the stage for Elphaba's ultimate downfall, but it also marks the rise of a new hero in Oz. For Elphaba, there's no escaping the fact that she's seen as the villain, whether she wanted to take on that role or not. Dorothy, in all her simplicity and innocence, becomes the symbol for everything that Elphaba fought so hard against. Wicked, the novel, portrays Dorothy not as the chosen one destined to save Oz, but as an unwitting symbol of everything that Elphaba cannot be. Loved, adorned, and celebrated, even if she's unaware of the consequences of her actions. For Elphaba, the rivalry with Dorothy represents the ultimate tragedy. The realization that no matter how hard she fights, the world will always choose simplicity over complexity, the good over the real.
The realization that no matter how hard she fights, the world will always choose simplicity over complexity. The good over the real.
So, next time you watch Wicked, remember, the rivalry between Dorothy and Elphaba isn't just a battle of witches and shoes. It's a clash of ideologies. One that asks us, what does it mean to be good in a world full of gray areas? And can we ever really escape the roles that society has assigned to us? Their rivalry, in the end, shapes the fate of Oz. And it's a rivalry that echoes far beyond the pages of Wicked. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the magical land of Oz. There's so much to unpack, and leave me a comment letting me know what you'd like to see in the next video. See you guys next time. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I love you so much, and I want you to be even more yourself.